Did you know that a Roman emperor once seriously considered making his horse a consul? It sounds like a joke, doesn't it? A whimsical fable from a bygone era. But the story of Emperor Caligula and his beloved stallion, Incitatus, is far stranger and more compelling than fiction. Imagine the grandeur of ancient Rome, marble halls echoing with whispers of power, the glint of armored soldiers, the gravitas of senators debating the fate of an empire. Now picture, amidst all this solemnity, a horse elevated to a position of immense political authority. This isn't just an anecdote. It's a window into the mind of one of history's most enigmatic and controversial rulers. Join us as we journey back to the heart of the Roman Empire, to unravel a tale that blurs the line between imperial madness and cunning political theater. Prepare to see Rome through the eyes of an emperor, and perhaps through the hoofprints of a horse. Our story begins in 12 AD with the birth of Gaius Julius Caesar Germanicus, better known as Caligula, meaning little boot. A nickname he earned from the miniature soldier S-boots he wore as a child in his father Germanicus's military camps. The early years of his life were shadowed by the tragic demise of his family, caught in the brutal power struggles of the Julio-Claudian dynasty. Yet, he survived, eventually becoming the chosen successor of his great-uncle, the Emperor Tiberius. When Tiberius died in 37 AD, Rome breathed a collective sigh of relief. Caligula, at just 25 years old, ascended to the throne amidst widespread public adoration. He was seen as a beacon of hope, a charismatic leader who promised a return to the Golden Age. The Senate heaped honors upon him, the people celebrated. And for a brief shining moment, it seemed Rome had found its ideal emperor. But this honeymoon period was brutally short-lived. Within months, Caligula's reign took a dark and disturbing turn. Accounts from ancient historians like Suetonius and Dio Cassius paint a picture of a man descending into tyranny and erratic behavior. He began executing perceived enemies, flaunting his divine authority, and indulging in extravagant, often cruel spectacles. The young beloved emperor transformed into a figure of terror and caprice. And it was during this tumultuous period that his fondness for his horse, Incitatus, took on a legendary, almost mythical, dimension. Incitatus wasn't just any horse. He was a champion racer, renowned for his speed and beauty. Caligula doted on him, providing him with a marble stable, an ivory manger, and even purple blankets, a color reserved for royalty. He was invited to imperial dinners, where he was fed gilded oats and fine wines. Now, to the heart of the matter. The consulship. The ancient sources, specifically Suetonius, claim that Caligula not only planned to make Incitatus a consul, but also a priest, and even considered building him a temple. Imagine the outrage, the disbelief among Rome's elite. The consulship was the highest elected office in the Roman Republic, and though its power diminished under the empire, it still held immense prestige and symbolism. To appoint a horse was an act of unprecedented insult and provocation. But was it literal intent, or something more? The accounts of Caligula's reign are often sensationalized, filtered through the biases of historians writing decades after his death. Some scholars argue that the consulship was merely a threat, a mocking gesture to the Senate, who Caligula increasingly despised. So, what are we to make of this bizarre tale? Was Caligula truly mad, believing his horse capable of governing an empire? Or was it an elaborate, cynical political statement? Consider the symbolism. By threatening to make Incitatus a consul, Caligula might have been sending a clear message. You, the esteemed senators, are no more competent than my horse. Your office holds no inherent power without my sanction. It was a way to humiliate and undermine the very institutions of Rome, showcasing his absolute power and the futility of traditional governance under his rule. He was demonstrating that he could elevate anyone or anything to the highest office, thus rendering the office itself meaningless and subservient to his imperial will. It was a calculated act of mockery, designed to shatter the dignity of the Roman elite and solidify his own absolute authority. Regardless of Caligula's true intentions, the story of Incitatus endures, a potent symbol of unchecked power and eccentricity. History, it seems, has a curious way of remembering its most peculiar figures. Caligula's reign, though short-lived, he was assassinated in 41 AD. After just 4 years on the throne, left an indelible mark. He remains one of the most controversial emperors, his name synonymous with tyranny and madness. The horse Incitatus has become a metaphor for absurd appointments, a testament to the fact that power, when wielded without restraint, can lead to the most outlandish scenarios. It makes us reflect. How often do we see history blurring the line between genius and madness? Between calculated political maneuvering and sheer unadulterated caprice? The tale of Incitatus invites us to question, to interpret, and to marvel at the human capacity for both brilliance and folly, especially when cloaked in the imperial purple. Thank you for joining us on this fascinating journey into ancient Rome. If you enjoyed this dive into history's more peculiar corners, please hit that like button, subscribe to our channel for more historical mysteries, and let us know in the comments what other historical figures or events you'd like us to explore next.